getting trace gold.
Which was good, because this meant there'd be more gold in the area.
As gold miners, we stand at a precipice of a brand new gold rush.
Gold had spiked at over 5,000 Australian dollars per ounce, meaning you can now make a day's wages on the creek easier than ever.
And just loudly, we had a lot of rain last night, and I'm hoping that Reedy Creek is flowing. It has been 4 months without water, and in one night it's flowing. I can't even see my spot.
Gold prospecting is not easy, and that's why I always employ what I call the 80-20 rule.
My spot is right there.
New prospectors tend to start digging too early in pay that isn't worth very much.
I don't even know how I'm going to work that.
The 80-20 rule dictates that you spend 80% of your time looking for your spot and only 20% of your time working it.
We were working this spot literally yesterday, and it was dry as a bone. It's gone from dry to waist deep. I'm up on a rock at the moment. There we go. I don't know where my spot is. I can't find the rock.
The principle is really simple. You could work a spot that only gives you 10 specks a pan all day long. And if you manage to maintain the rate of 10 pans an hour, you'll come away with 100 specks in that hour.
Oh, this is impossible. I actually don't know where my spot is. I can't feel it with my legs. It gets so deep over there, it goes over my waders.
But if you know there's better gold in the creek, you're actually better off spending most of your time looking for that better deposit. Because in a single pan, you could get as much gold as you got in an hour.
It's adventure time.
I had just 4 hours on the creek to find as much gold as I could before I had to return home. So I employed the 80-20 method. 3 hours of searching, and 1 hour of processing the best spot that I could find. I just had to make sure the tree people wouldn't keep me. And it's really easy to think that people have a knowledge of where the gold is. This is in fact a fallacy.
This is going to be so slippery.
The best most of us can do is educated guesswork. Panning is the only way to really find out.
When the granite gets polished, it's like glass or ice. It's really hard to stand on.
Because you're going to spend 80% of your time looking for gold, you've got to get curious. Test literally everything. It doesn't matter how stupid it might look or what you've heard online. All of it is worth testing because you just don't know where the gold could be. And early in the day, I was finding a little bit of gold everywhere.
Super high velocity water coming out here, and it starts getting slack in this area. That's where the drop zone is.
Observations like that are ultimately what lead me to being curious about testing a spot.
For years I've been a practitioner of doing one shovel test pans because I want to know how much gold I'm getting per shovel, not per pan.
Remember, I'm trying to find the best gold I can within my time limit, so I will often walk away from gold that might be good. I take note of where this spot is so that if I don't find anything better, I can return to it.
Well, there's potential there. The black sand and the gold are the same size, meaning that we're not quite on where the proper dropout zone is, but we're close to it. I should keep looking. There's gold everywhere. It's just not concentrated.
We're relying on the river to reconcentrate poor grade gravels into high grade gravels. And in order for the 80-20 rule to work, you need to know what your river could potentially give you as a good spot. You can get this information from test panning, seeing what other people pull out online, or other prospectors in your area.
Everywhere you see fast flowing water, you're going to get a channel that drops deeper. My case in point is I'm about knee deep at the moment, and I'm sitting in what can be considered slack water just here. But when we drop down to, where the fast water is and we go to crutch depth, that is not where your gold is settling. Your gold is going to be settling right on the edge of the channels and where the high points are. It's a really nice piece of jasper.
You want to find out how much gold you could potentially get out of your creek, because then you'll know what's worth walking away from.
There's so much sign and trace here. I haven't been skunked, but I'm looking for that magic pan, and I've had to switch from knowing this morning where the gold was to not being able to access it and going straight into prospecting mode. Every pan looks just like this. That amount of gold is like a $20 a day if you keep processing it with a pan. It'd be alright with a high banker maybe.
I knew that I could get 1,000 spec pan in Reedy Creek. Whether or not I could find one was a different question. But even if I kicked over a spot that was giving me 50 flakes a pan, I'd be much better off working that for just an hour than I would be working a spot that was only giving me 10. And after several hours of test panning, I came across this spot.
We've momentarily stepped into Lord of the Rings. I found a little side channel that has a lot of potential. We've got water just jetting in the top here. Someone's done a lot of work in this section. I came downstream of that point and I saw that the water gets slack right on this inside bend. And if I look at the dirt, I can see black sand all through it.
Black sand doesn't guarantee that you're going to find gold. All it guarantees is that there are heavies collecting in that area, which increases your chances.
You never know until you get it panned out, but at today's gold prices and where they're projected to go and how rough this morning's been, I would take a 30 spec pan and work that.
The more black sand you see in your pan, the better your chances are.
Ooh, we got potential.
And in this case, I was seeing a lot of it. The only problem was it was all the same size. Physics dictates to us that if all the black sand is exactly the same particle size, it's likely that the gold dropping out with it is also going to be the same size.
We really want a mixture of black sand, but when you get a lot of the same size black sand like this, the potential for you to get a lot of fine gold in one spot is really good. Oh yeah, it's all through it. These are the hard ones to show on camera because the gold is actually all through the black sand, not just at the top. But we've got a bit more gold in there than we have been getting and a lot more black sand. I'm going to poke around here for a little bit. First job as usual is trying to remember where I put my shovel. Uh-oh. That is a problem. I actually don't know where it is. Small victories. The second job, clearing rocks. The daily test of strength.
All of the signs were here. I had plenty of black sand, I had more than 30 pieces of flour gold. I just had to figure out whether it got better the deeper I went.
Oh, we've got black sand at the back already. Check that out. We know there's gold in it. There's no point revealing it. We're just going to throw it all in a bucket.
Past Chris should have explained that a little better. You can only work gold while you're on the creek. You can always clean it up when you're at home. So I simply collect everything in a bucket to clean up at home. This saves time on the creek for more digging and more gold. And that's part of the 80-20 rule. Don't waste time that you don't have to. And when you know it, I was in luck. The deeper I dug, the better the gold got. More black sand and more gold every single pan. Because there was so much of it, it didn't actually matter that it was so fine.
Some of these pans are looking super respectable. I got fine gold all over the pan. We've got specks down here, specks up here, all through there. Somewhere around 50. That is the thing about the 20-80 rule. If you spend 80% of your time, no matter how much time you have to spend on the creek, spend most of it looking for the best possible deposit. I could work all day on 10 specks a pan and come out with $20 or $30 worth of gold. I could get the same amount of gold in less than an hour in 5 or 6 pans here. This spot, as I get down deeper, is getting richer and richer. Easily over 100 pieces of flour gold in every pan, and the black sand is thick as. But in the famous words of Bruce Almighty, that's the way the cookie crumbles, and I'm pretty damn happy to get 100 specks of gold per pan regardless of their size. You never know what you're going to find when you're panning. That just popped out. Does anyone have any idea what that's off? Surely there's a bottle expert that knows.
With my last hour drawing to a close, I got a wiggle on and got as many pans done as I could. And the gold gods were kind. The gold remained super consistent for the entire time.
Oh man, the gold is super consistent. We're gonna have to come back here. But in order to do that, I need to keep this channel afloat. And so it's time for a shameless plug for our sponsor, and that's me at the Old Moldy. We've got a brand new line of shirts out called Dirt Empire. The link for them is below. because I know there's more than just gold prospecting that involves a lot of dirt.
You want to be part of an empire, right?
Man, we have a bunch of material to process at home, and we know that we're getting 100 specs a pan. That's quite a few pans. Let's see if paying attention to my own rules actually works.
If you want to see more videos like this, consider hitting the subscribe button, because I dig holes a lot, and you might be interested in seeing me dig those holes. And a quick recap over what we've already done. I spent 4 hours on the creek, and one of those hours was spent processing the best spot that I could find, meaning that 80% of my time was spent searching. This is all the gold that I found whilst I was searching. You can see there, we got a little bit, maybe a 0.2. At today's gold prices, that'd be worth about $30, but we will get that on the scales. Remember that took 3 hours to find. This is the gold that I found in just 1 hour from that spot at the end. The gold that I found at the end is still a little bit dirty, and that's because there's so much ultrafine gold in it. I was actually struggling to get it to peel away in the time frame that I had left to clean it up. And for that reason, I am going to deduct a little bit of weight from it when I weigh it up. But there is a really stark difference. 3 hours invested, 1 hour invested. And this is the point. If I had spent all day working that, I wouldn't have got very much gold at all. First, our 3 hours of prospecting looking for our spot. Point 1. And second, this is all the gold we found in an hour once we'd found the best possible spot. Point 4. Let's take off 0.1 of a gram for all the contaminants that are in there. The 80-20 rule in this particular case means that I managed to net 3 times the amount of gold in 1/4 of the time. Spend your time prospecting. You will be rewarded for it.